The Mizell Show is back.
Yeah, we are.
With a controversial-ish topic.
I guess it's kind of controversial.
We're talking about COVID.
We're talking about COVID.
We're talking about the fact that we got our first shot.
Got the vaccination.
And the emotions that came rushing back.
Yes.
So, kind of our take on COVID and where we've been, what we've been doing, how it's hit us. You guys, we've been in COVID a year now. Yes. Officially, it's been a year. What does that look like for the Mizells? Here we go.
Perfect.
Welcome to the Mizell Show.
An inspiration for a new generation.
Hi, I'm Alana Mizell, a loving mother of two, a devoted wife to Steven, and an entrepreneur helping women realize their dreams and potential.
And I'm Steven Mizell, caring father of two, a devoted husband to Alana, and a driving force to help young men prepare for life after college football.
And if that wasn't enough, we're a biracial couple.
She was raised in the North, but I was raised in the South.
The only thing normal about our lives, who am I kidding? It's never normal around here. Join us for the Mizell Show.
Right now. Yo, Alana Marie.
Steven Mizell.
What up?
So, weird things have happened this year, but the weirdest happened today. We rolled up and got our first COVID shot.
It's a vaccination. I guess it's a shot. So we had our first dose.
Our first dose.
We got our first dose of the COVID-19 vaccination.
And so in this episode, we just really wanted to be as open and raw about
what we experienced.
Our experience within COVID. And it kind of hit us sort of right in the face today when we got our shot.
Yeah, we got our shot, and it was kind of like during this, so many things have happened during COVID, but you also found yourself watching maybe a little bit more TV than usual. You're stuck in the house, and like when we were pulling up, it's like, this is so weird. Like a movie, like you're tunneling into this space, and people are like in robes and face masks and like, injecting you with the vaccination.
Okay, so let's paint the picture for somebody who hasn't gone yet. So we live in Memphis, and so large city. We've had a few troubles
with our rollout of vaccination.
With our rollout,
yeah,
they've got it. It seems like they've got it under control.
Hey, shout out to Sign Up Genius. Yes, the city of Memphis is using Sign Up Genius.
Straight up Sign Up, and I was clowning on them. Like,
but it was worked though. It was properly.
It worked.
It worked.
And I mean, they send you notifications. Sign Up Genius sends you a reminder. Anyway, but you pull in. You fill out a form, and then you pull in through this building.
Like a massive garage.
Yeah. And
you stay in your car.
I'm trying to think of like, almost like NCIS, like you're in a crime scene. Like everybody's gowned up.
Yep.
Like protecting the evidence.
Protecting the evidence. And like only 10, it's like about 20 cars in the building. Yeah. And they're like, all right, cut your cars off. Stay in your car. Stay in your car. A person walks up, it's just like, you're excited about it because you're getting a chance to get a vaccination. But you're just like, man, this is so weird.
It was so weird. It was so weird. Well, and like, I don't know that I believe that the vaccination is really going to help me a whole ton. But like.
But see, I believe in it.
I don't really want to not get it.
Though. Yeah, you not get it. So, it's funny you say that. I was talking to Zay Cullins, one of our football players today, and he was just like, hey, man, I thought it takes like 5 years to get a vaccination. I'm like, well, with everything happening in the world, yeah, we probably sped it up, but this has, in my raw Google search,
unmedical leveled.
Yeah, it has to do something with the flu. So they were able to use the flu shot and use things to kind of cultivate where we are today. It's like
what?
Yes, they say the reason why Google. The reason they were able to they were able to find a vaccination so fast is because it does have similar things as the flu, and they were able to use some of the things with the flu shot.
Well, and also remember that every other vaccine essentially was put on pause for a year and a half, and the brightest minds
in the world.
Well, that's another topic, political topic for the other day. But the brightest minds, at least in the United States,
well, there you go with that.
Are going. Well, there are other countries that have already been vaccinated.
Yes, and we got to offer the vaccination a long time ago. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. But we also want to talk about what did COVID look like for us?
I want to challenge you for what did COVID look like for you, because it hit me and Alana. I will never forget this day. We're sitting in our bedroom, just kind of hanging out
in our old house.
And Alana hates watching basketball. Like, she just doesn't watch basketball.
I don't watch basketball.
And so I like to watch.
I also don't watch it when I'm trying to fall asleep. I know it's bad to watch TV when you're trying to fall asleep, but it's too bright.
But
so that's not.
I appreciate having basketball watch me as I like fall asleep. So long story short, I'm watching it.
Watch me.
And Alana rolls over. She's like, "Why is the game stopped?" And I'm like, "Dude."
And then we turned the volume on because it wasn't on.
It wasn't on.
The sound wasn't on.
Was down. All of a sudden, the Dallas Mavericks game was like canceled.
Was canceled mid-game. No, they were still playing. And the owner was getting up. And you could see that he was in distress.
He was in distress talking to people. You're right. Because they were playing, but in another NBA game,
somebody had just tested positive.
And they were like, we have to get everybody off the court. And we're like, wow.
So it wasn't until the NBA shut down that we were like, oh this is real. Guys, let's back it up a couple weeks. We are at our old house, and with my dad's birthday's in February, we had everybody over. Mm-hmm. We are cracking jokes
about COVID,
about how
China
had this thing they're calling it COVID, and
they shut down their country, and
we were like,
masks.
It's just like SARS; it'll be gone super fast.
And also, China is a country that they wear masks like almost all the time with just the common cold. So you as Americans, we get very uppity.
Right. Whereas like they're conscious of other people and not so selfish, because they actually wear masks when they like say I have a cold and I am sick,
but I still have to go to work.
I wear a mask.
Yeah.
I don't just like blow my snots everywhere and put it all over everybody.
That is so true. So we were sitting at a table at your dad's like birthday get together, like this is COVID, it'll be gone. And then it just like kept coming up.
It was like the next week or two is when the whole Mavericks game happened. Well, and then just after that, we decided to sell our house.
Yeah.
Like we were already planning to sell it. We were getting it prepared to list and all that. And then
the country shut down for like a solid 2 weeks. Like no going to Memphis shut down for like they ordered to stay in. And that was to me.
So it was the week that the stay in started is when we listed our house. We were going to list it on a Saturday, and the stay in got announced. Yes.
No, the stay in was way before, because we were working from home and the kiddos. We sold our house with the stay in was still going, but it was towards the back end because the essential workers, because we weren't sure the movers were essential workers.
Okay, you're right. But it was at the end of the 2 week time frame, the first 2 week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we were going to list it on a Saturday, but we were so afraid that it was going to get worse that we listed it on a Wednesday, and by the grace of God, we sold it in 2 days.
Yeah.
And then our movers were able to move us.
Yes.
But we moved with 2 toddlers during a global pandemic. Let me tell you what we had to do. We had to get a backpack full of toys and close them in Steven's office.
Yeah, that's I don't like to think about that. But yeah, we had to.
They were together.
But it was we were running around. But going back to it,
wasn't like they were. It's not like they were in the chokey from oh my gosh, Matilda.
Never seen that movie.
Right, because it's a girls' movie. But
but going back,
you will. Don't worry.
So
Just
we're experiencing COVID, and it's a global pandemic, and I think we're all trying to not watch the news. We're watching the news, and why did you still feel we need to sell the house? Like, how did you still let your faith go through this global pandemic?
Because I'm naive. No.
Because I was panicking on the inside. I just never told you.
Oh, I was panicking. I just was so clear. We were in church in February of last year. And I can't even remember what song we were singing, but we were worshiping. We had arrived. We were second to last row. And something just came over me, and I remember looking at you and saying, we've got to move.
Yeah.
And I told Stephen the address that we needed to move to. I said, we're going to move into such and such house. And it was the first time that I had overwhelming peace on selling our house. And there was many times that
there was many times where Alana was like, time to sell.
Because of the market that we purchased in and the way that the economy had increased. We were in a real good position. But neither one of us had total peace on the situation. Yeah. It was either like another house that we wanted to move into kept falling through or something like that. And we had decided together that we were going to rent.
And keep in mind, like, not only are we selling our house, but we have to, like, try to find somewhere to move. And if you've ever sold a house or going to a house, it is extremely hard to not only move, but the perfect word, you want to move into an empty house. Right. Like, having to wait on people to move out, then get it cleaned is just... And then the flip side, to keep going deeper, the people who are buying your house, you're hoping they don't need to be in by a certain time, and then pushing you out. And that's something that we experienced. So we listed our house on a Wednesday, and we have our parents live in our same town. But with COVID and with everything going on, we weren't able to utilize them.
And not really understand,
because it was an early
all
stage.
We knew was
it could be passed, and people
it could be
over
passed,
a certain age,
and they're older.
Yeah.
They're not old, but they're older. They're in the threshold. And so we were just afraid to have them come help out at all. We didn't see anybody. And it was wild.
It was wild.
You know, thinking back on it, it is just
crazy. And then let's
wild.
Many of you know I'm also a real estate agent. So I list the house, and I don't even get a chance to put the sign in the actual yard.
No.
We posted on our social media, and we end up getting multiple offers.
It was blessing.
And the offer we ended up accepting was a student that I helped go to Memphis many, many moons ago.
Back
I'm showing my age.
Admissions.
Back when I was in admissions. But she found the house because she followed Alana.
And posted our house.
And she posted her house.
Yeah.
And so through all of that, you're just like, wow.
And then through inspection and all of that, they didn't ask for anything.
But here's the thing, and that's another blessing in disguise.
But they were like, just
between
we'll do
COVID, you know, when you go to sell a house, there's always that nervous inspection period. But through COVID, and just the awesome, wonderful couple this family was, and their agent, they're like, hey, we understand if you don't want a bunch of people coming in your house or doing repairs. Let's just try to do something at closing, and we'll take care of it.
Right.
And that's a blessing, because the last thing you're thinking about is multiple people coming in and fixing rotten wood, or they're looking at this XYZ. And that's just something that having toddlers working from home, trying to do all those things.
I think ultimately what we're doing is reflecting on essentially a full year in COVID.
Yeah.
And the grand design that happened in our lives. And no, not everybody has had grand design within COVID, but I would challenge you to actually look at how you found out about the virus, what you've learned about the virus, how that's affected your life. We've been very, 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 very blessed within COVID.
From a healthy standpoint, from a job standpoint.
Blessed. We are grateful that our marriage is stronger than it's ever been. This podcast got started because of COVID in general. I think
Alana realized how much she really liked me through COVID, because she spent so much time with me.
Did you know that I sell makeup? Not only do I sell makeup, but the makeup that I sell is 3D makeup, which allows you to highlight and contour your face in a super simple compact. As a mom, I could not survive without my simplified routine. Not only that, but it's exactly what you need. Exactly when you need it, all in one spot. Go ahead and check out Alana Mizell on Instagram or alanamizell.com to learn more.
But I think it's so important. Yes, I found out that I liked you even more than I thought. But there is specific design. I fully believe in however your COVID went. And I find that hard to say also, because we didn't hit heavy. We didn't have massive loss in our families or anything like that. And I cannot imagine having to say bye to a loved one through a screen. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine putting to rest a family member through a
phone call.
Right. Yeah. Or through a Zoom. Like that's how you're seeing the funeral or things. But there were specific times for us, we were supposed to take a trip to Cape Cod. And I think that was that day, I literally threw a temper tantrum. I was so mad. We have a print in our house that is of a little shack on Cape Cod. And it just reminds me of home because I'm from New Hampshire. And we had been planning a family trip. And we have not taken a family trip. Me, my mom, my dad, my sister, Steven, and the kids we've never
done that. No, we've never done that. Never.
And Adele was 8 months old when she
saw your side of the family.
And Briggs has never met
the
large majority of my family because we live so far away. And it was like we looked so long for the house that was on the beach so then I could put the kids to nap and then just walk back outside. That's a big deal for me.
It's a big deal for you.
To not have to like drag stuff to the beach. Like that's a big deal. And I just felt like it was the dream vacation for me.
And boom.
And it was stripped from me. And we waited till the very last minute to make the decision. And I remember it being the week that we were supposed to be there. And I think that was the first time that I really felt broken in COVID. Mm-hmm. But I also think that was the turning point in which I was like, with how broken you feel, I think it's really time to see a therapist and actually be able to work through and articulate where's that coming from? Why did you want to be there so bad? And like the baggage that went with that.
Yeah. And me seeing that with you and seeing that weekend was a hard weekend, and you really were looking forward to that trip. But I think going back
it was raining in Memphis.
It was raining the whole time.
I was like, is this a joke?
And just through our whole year, we had so many of those. We had a lot of moments in which we were like, we were supposed to be doing this. This is what's happening. And now that you go through the full year, you look back on it. We got our vaccination. We're like, there are a lot of God's provisions that happened during this that we know many people didn't experience, but we experienced it, and you want to hold on to it.
But I think they did. I think that if people were to actually look at God's provisions and map out 2020 and actually focus on the good things that happened, they will see that there was provision in their pain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really do. And I'm not discounting loss because during COVID, I lost one of my greatest mentors and was unable to go to her funeral. And she impacted so many people in the city of Memphis that I cannot wait to continue to tell Adele more and more and more about this fantastic woman, Melanie Seymour. But she was not laid to rest the way that she should, but the way that it was done was on her terms. Mm-hmm. It was, I hate to say this, but it was so much like Melanie to not have pomp and circumstance. Mm-hmm. Like she passed when she wanted to pass.
Yeah.
You know, she passed with impact. She passed with people remembering who she was. She passed at a time to where she had these principal prayers every day. And the year that she retired, they created a book of principal prayers. So she passed during a year in which people would have been clinging more to Melanie's principal prayers than any year ever. And she would have wanted it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think if people were to actually look back on their COVID experience thus far, they would see more provision in their pain and actually be able to look at the strength that they've gained versus just looking at the agony and the discomfort.
Yeah. And that's something that I think I I gained in terms of my career, in terms of our marriage. But I think through all of this, we were able to reach out. I was definitely able to reach out and connect more with a lot of my players. And a football roster runs anywhere between 105 to 110-ish guys. And my head coach challenged me that, with us working from home and not being able to see the guys, he challenged me every week to FaceTime or phone call every guy on the team. And so during this time, I was able to see my players, see the guys in their home element, because many of them went to their homes. You got a chance to see them on the farm or see them with their parents or see them hanging out. And so it was just a good experience to really hone in, because if anything, the lessons that we've learned as a country, you can almost do more with less.
What are some of the lessons that Stephen Mizell has learned through COVID?
Oh man, with my career,
in general,
just in general, I'm honestly, something that's really humbled me through COVID is less is more. Like during this time, not to toot my own horn, but almost every weekend, me and Alana have had a date night. You're a mess. We allocated time after the kids go to sleep.
When we say date night,
we ain't going nowhere.
We're not going nowhere. But so we had to get creative with how we were dating each other.
And we had to be creative about the intentional time.
Yeah.
And so even though she saw me all day, every day, she knew, hey, when they go to bed, we're going to order this takeout and we're going to watch this show.
Yeah.
Or we're going to play a little Monopoly. It gets aggressive with Alana because she wants to buy all the properties.
I win.
And she definitely wins. But yeah, so we won't talk about that. But no, I learned at the end of the day, less is more, because and even my role as director of player relations, I'd always try to hit the main guys or the quote unquote stars. But through COVID, I was forced to
adapt.
The extroverts. Or the extrovert, yeah, exactly.
The ones that want to talk to you.
The ones that talk to me. So it forced me to go and hone in on every guy from the walk-on to our quote-unquote elite athlete that's on the cover of everything. Right. I was forced to do it. And it just gave me so much more, I guess, humbleness to say, hey, this is awesome. And I think as a country, I hope we don't forget, yes, the ones that passed away and the traumatic experience, but don't forget what it meant to slow down and to come together as a family, to go around the table and to really be able to say, I can't run from my little sister anymore and go out and I have to hang out with her.
Yeah.
And even the dad that was so used to being able to hide behind his job and say, oh, honey, I'm coming home late. I got to be in the office. Well, your office is a kitchen table. Yeah. So you can't say you have to
Your office was the front porch.
Yeah, office was the front porch.
Yeah.
And so you can't hide from it. You have to juggle. And that's one thing that I would definitely say through COVID, I've learned that less is more. And I just pray that you listening to this call, don't forget everything that you were able to do and accomplish during this time. And I say all this because the NFL right now is going through a huge argument. Like, why do we need these camps and all this stuff through June? So the NFL Players Association is saying, why can't we just do things virtually like we did last year, instead of having these guys have all this taxing on their bodies, doing mini camps and summer camps?
In a sport that is very taxing.
Very violent. And they're like, hey, we just did this through COVID. The rookies played good. You had a great season.
Right. You didn't have a massive drop in numbers or stats.
Yeah, you spent a lot on COVID tests and all that, but he was just saying, they were just...
Yeah, but you won't have to do... I see what you're saying.
But they were just saying the end of the day, I'm just saying... that they're like, hey,
they're trying to learn from the past year in different ways that they can give back the family environment to the home, and I think into the player that has been so monopolized by money.
Yeah.
And you guys, these players make a gazillion bajillion dollars. That's a real number. But I think that that's important in every facet of our lives.
Yeah.
We went from a 3,900 square foot house.
And I never, ever, like Alana would show, I was like, bro, we can't do this. Like, Alana, we can't do this. We can't do this. And let's just be honest. Like, we bought that house as a young couple and we got a steal for it and we got way too much house. But in the house, we rented it out the space to now one of our best friends, Gardner. We had so many friends come over and stay with us. So the 3,900 square foot was very utilized.
We used it. It was very functional space. So then we downsized to a 1,700 square foot
1,700 square feet
house in the middle of a global pandemic.
Global pandemic. and that's something, another thing that we didn't talk about,
But how beautiful is that?
Less is more.
Less is more. We literally cut the size of our house in half. Now, did we learn that Mama probably needs an office space? Yes, but had we projected that my income was going to literally double?
No, we would have. But it also prepares us.
More than double.
It prepares us that, hey, this next time, maybe we only need 2,200 square feet. But I think
my income grew by 600 times.
Yeah.
My team went from 30 in January to over 140 by the end of 2020. Mm-hmm. So, y'all, 2020 was good to us, but that was not absent of these challenges. But within all that goodness, it also taught us, like maybe 2,000 square feet.
Yeah. It also challenged us to reevaluate things that we just thought we needed so much of.
Like what?
Clothes.
You're right. This year I did a capsule wardrobe for winter.
She killed it. A capsule wardrobe.
And I'm about to do the same thing again.
So follow her on Instagram. She'll show you how to do it.
And just there's so many things that I don't want to wear that I have. Yeah. And I literally have no desire to wear it. So why do I have it?
Yeah.
And
that's something that she taught me. I downsized. So as y'all know, I'm a late bloomer in the dating and Alana stage. I met her a little bit later in my life. With all that being said, I had a lot of stuff that I didn't need because it was just me. I was like, hey, I could buy this, I could buy that, I could buy this. And I just kept it because we had the space. But now I'm like, dude, all I need is these 6 pair of pants from Target that I could just
He loves these pair of pants from Target.
Yeah, I love them. And I just reuse them and different things. And just that's all I need.
But how many things are people going to just dismiss because they want normalcy, whatever normalcy is, to come back? So they're going to go full throttle into workhorse mode versus saying, like the NFL is doing, whoa.
We just did this.
Let's take
for a
whole
year.
Back.
Yeah, exactly.
Google's on a 4-day work week for a reason.
Yeah.
As Americans, we are so overworked and
COVID forced us to slow down.
That and working more hours or outworking somebody else just because is not to be flaunted.
No.
It's not.
No.
And I feel like that is something I've definitely learned through COVID. I worked myself into the ground at one point. And the day that I hit my highest pay rank felt like nothing.
Felt empty. I remember we were sitting on the couch and we were about to celebrate. We had got some beverages. We had got some food. And you were literally...
had no kids.
We had no kids. We were literally on FaceTime with Sarah Alderman. You're just like... I did it.
I just didn't care.
I think I celebrated more than you did.
Y'all, it's not that I didn't care. It's that I thought that I would then feel complete and there would be significance in COVID and through all the stuff and through me working through my pain. And there wasn't.
Yeah.
So that wasn't the solution.
Yeah.
The solution was healing and re-looking back over the year on ways that my life could be more fulfilled in ways that COVID brought me more fulfillment.
Yeah, I like that. So is that your... So you told me... So mine was less is more. So that you say that would be yours?
The biggest thing that I learned?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure. That my definition of success at the beginning of COVID has vastly changed now.
Yeah.
And I also think it took me actually not working on our vacation that we just had to realize that my business is going to be okay. And the actual most important thing is my kids and my husband and my family. But isn't that what COVID attempted to teach us? And I think that God attempted to teach us that.
Yes.
It is by his grand design that he locked all of you in one house with your family.
I mean, you want to get the visual. You get the visual of Noah's Ark. Like, he put everybody in a confined space with their one significant other or pair and took everything outside of it and, like, wiped it out. Now, we're blessed that COVID did not... But it took something that slowed humanity down and had people, like, lose their loved ones for us as a world, definitely America, to say, let's slow down and not forget family. Because... No,
you have to slow down.
You have to slow down. Yes.
It wasn't America that allowed us to slow down and not forget family.
No, it was...
Because had it been America's choice, we would have never shut down.
Oh, no.
Case in point, it took us way too long to shut down.
Yeah. And then we want to, like I said, like one thing that we want to say as we kind of wrap this up is don't rush back to normalcy. Just because your state says go back full, like don't.
Well, and like just
forget.
Because you can take the mask off and you can get the vaccine or whatever it might be, doesn't mean that you need to remove movie night from your family's line item.
Doesn't mean go back to working 14-hour days and not seeing them.
It doesn't, right? And it doesn't mean that your date night has to involve a babysitter and you going to some restaurant. I mean, if you want to, more power to you, but it could also be something as simple as takeout from a local place and watching a movie on the couch with your loved one and actually having quality time with them that is intentional.
Yes.
So yeah, that's us. That's like kind of what hit us
as we were going through the drive-thru.
Almost like it was almost like we were about to go into a car wash and the water's just about to hit you and all of a sudden it hits.
Yes.
And that's what like the emotions felt like. So there's a little recap on us. COVID in the Mizell world.
Yeah.
Thus far.
I
mean, as far as we know, I think we're getting somewhere.
But
we want to challenge you guys to look at the positive and the provision through your pain within COVID. We are so grateful that you guys have been hanging out with us. I can't believe we get to do this. We get to have a podcast together that we love. We get to take information that's going through our brains and regurgitate it out to you. If you guys are loving what we're doing, we would love to talk to a group of you on whatever topic you'd like us to talk to. We'd love to do a Zoom with you guys. However you guys want to do it, just reach out to us. It's info@themizellshow.com. Thanks, guys.
Are you loving The Mizell Show? Well, we love you all. And did you know that you can have me and Steven talk to your team or a group of 25 of your friends? All it takes is 25 people showing up on either a Zoom call, a Facebook Live, or really anywhere. Hopefully in person sooner rather than later. But how do you get us? So all you have to do is email themizellshow@gmail.com or you can direct message us on Instagram @themizellshow.